Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Brian and Sherry 5.0. Online 24/7 at briansherryshow.com. This is Brian and Sherry 5.0. Here are your hosts, Brian Shepard and Sherry Johnson.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Josh, for that wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. Brian here. Of course, I'm joined by Sherry.
Hi, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day. Oh, my goodness, this is the day of love. So I hope everyone out there has their special Valentine and maybe has received something special today. If not, it's okay, because you know what? Valentine's Day, you can love just about anything or anyone. So just share love. Right, Brian?
Exactly. Well, Tilt me just a little more. There you go.
We have no feedback.
And your hair now. Yeah, right. So, love anyone. I'm waiting for my flowers from you. I did not receive any. So.
From me?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Brian, I had no idea you expected something from me. Well, we'll just have to figure that out now, won't we?
Yes. Well, but anyways. I got my flowers. I received something. I don't normally expect anything, but I did get my flowers. So, the Sherry clip you are watching. So that is them behind me.
Oh.
Isn't it wonderful?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You got roses. Nice.
I did. Well, I do every year, so.
Beautiful.
Yes. Hello to everyone on Facebook Live starting to watch us. Hopefully not too many people are confused with the time difference from last week, because we did 2 to 3 and now it's 9 to 10.
Right.
So, oh well, people will pay attention. They'll slowly come on. So we have my sister is watching, my grandmother is watching, Sharon is watching, Daniel Payton. Hello, Daniel.
Hey, Dan.
Greer's watching. So hello, everyone. It felt like it was a long week to wait for this show. But
okay.
I know. But the good thing is that I have been listening to other shows in between waiting for this show to come on. So, do you know what shows I've been listening to?
I hope Sherry and Jodelle show.
I have been listening to the Sherry and Jodelle show, and I've also been listening to the Sherry and Jody Comedy Forum.
Oh, cool. What do you think? What?
You don't want me to answer that.
Why? Is it bad?
Yeah.
Why?
It's not bad. I'm just kidding.
He does this to me every time, you guys.
Well, it's different only because I'm not on those shows, so it's a different experience. I do know who the one person is, you, but I don't. Right. I'm trying to get to know Jody Oliver, who was a guest on our show at one point in time for comedy, because she's a comedian, and then she ventured off to want to do a show, which is taking off. I do like the Comedy Forum.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we're getting a huge response from the Comedy Forum. Yeah. And it's just been wonderful. I can't believe how many people want to be on the show, which is, it's just amazing.
Yes. The Sherry and Jodelle show, which is sort of new. I think there's been, 4 guests so far?
We've had 2 different guests so far.
No, you've had.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
I believe I was number 3, if I'm not mistaken.
I forgot. Yeah, I wasn't even counting you, Brian. You were talking to you.
Yeah, I was.
And you don't count. Yeah, no, of course you do. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
That's okay, because the last guest you had was the one that's actually on tonight's show.
Correct.
On our
show.
It's
very exciting, yes.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm stealing guests from other shows. But you know what? I don't really care. We're all connected. We're all, every show is connected, which is a good thing. So.
And there's so many hundreds and thousands of people who do podcasts. I mean, someone can go on 1,000 different podcasts if they want to. It's really up to the person. So.
Yeah. So it's. I don't want to say I've been scouting shows. Yeah. But if I see something, and no, I shouldn't say see something. If I hear something that I like, that I think that our viewers and our
benefit from,
are going to benefit from, or there's some sort of information that maybe they would like to know about, I want those guests on our show. So, and that's what's happening, damn it, because I say so. So.
Well, not only that, right? It's pretty cool that our guest tonight, will be able to speak to a lot of our listeners who are involved with acting and producing, directing, all forms of type of entertainment, and mainly acting, which is really, really important. And I think it's really important for them to pay attention to tonight's show.
Yeah.
Especially ones who are just starting out. So you guys make sure you get a paper and pen ready if you are interested in learning about our guest tonight. If you're involved with acting, please just get a pen and paper because you're going to want to write this information down.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm. I like telling people ahead of time, Brian. Sometimes we talk real fast and they're like, oh, I got to go back and listen to the show. I wish I had known. So this is great. We give a little bit of time before we bring the guests on, and we'll have fun with this. Definitely.
So when exactly, talking about your shows previously, when exactly are your shows on? Because I know you're doing, well, technically there's 3 of them, but so far I've only listened to 2.
Right.
Because the other ones seem to be taking off.
Right. Well, they're all doing very well. They're just different types of shows. Every Monday at 11 o'clock p.m., we do the Sherry and Jody's Comedy Forum, which goes on for half an hour. We do have a link, which I've been sharing on some timelines that we have. And then on the last Tuesday of every month, we have the finale for that show. So we actually do a Monday and Tuesday on the last week of every month. So, and on the other Tuesdays, we will fill those days in with the Sherry and Jodelle show. And on that show, we just pretty much interview people, but they have to have something really special about them. They have to be really involved in what they're doing and have some credentials of some sort. So we don't just interview anybody, And then Jody's also been interviewing. She's really been an amazing person, Brian. She's been interviewing a lot of people to be on our show. So this is how she's finding people and getting really great guests. And, she's really been great at that. And then on Thursdays, like after our show tonight, I will actually have a show on Sherry Clip. Yeah, I go back on live at 11. So I'll be on Sherry Clip. I'll be interviewing Gabriel Castillo. And then on Friday nights, I might be doing another show here and there. So pretty much booked for the entire week. Yeah.
Well, it's good for me because I work alone. I work in an area where there's no music, there's no people. I'm 100% by myself. So I find myself tuning into your show or listening to past shows that they're not on, and I just stick the phone in my back pocket, and then I just listen as I am doing my job. So I like doing that. So it kind of keeps me updated. And like I said, if I see someone or hear, I might want them on our show. So.
You steal guests, Brian.
Yeah.
No. I think it's great that the more exposure that our guests have, the better. It's really hard to get known. And
No, we don't want overexposure now.
We've been told, getting overexposure is not good, but it's okay. I think it benefits everyone. So those are not my words.
No, they are not your words. And those are the wrong words, but that's okay. But anyways, so we have one tonight. So hello to Christina, all the way from the Philippines. Hello and happy Valentine's Day to you as well. Thank you very much. I hope everyone got some roses or some candy. For those who do not have Valentines, I know a certain someone that doesn't have a Valentine. It could be anything or anyone. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a loved one. So just letting you know. Yeah, I got my flowers. They're up there. So thanks for pointing that out there. Hello to Katie. Katie is our graphic designer. She likes to do all of our banners and logos and everything else fun. So we appreciate the work that she does. So I'm excited to see what she's coming up with. So I don't know if she
I actually got a sneak peek. I got a sneak peek at our new logo coming out, guys. So if Brian approves, if he approves.
Yeah, that's the good thing about it. I eventually have to see it, so that's a good thing. But I'm pretty sure with Katie behind the wheel, I don't necessarily have to really approve anything. I mean, it's Katie, so.
Katie's amazing. Thank you, Katie. Yes.
Now, is there a reason why there's a new logo? Can you share that information?
The only reason for the new logo is, we have been in this for 5 years, Brian, and, we need to update just a little bit. And not that we don't like our old logos or anything, but this one will look great on a coat and on our shirt. So that is the main reason. Yeah.
So we're moving into clothing now.
We are, yes.
Not to say that we haven't already done clothing, because I do have, and I know that we had 3 winners of our autograph signed T-shirts. Some of them are wondering where they are. Don't fret, because I have them right here. They're ready to go. All they need are signatures, and they will be mailed out. And I believe I'm meeting with you tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Yeah. Okay. Brian and I are in different locations, for those of you who don't know.
Katie says, oh, that's right, yeah. Having people on multiple shows, it works because different people listen to different shows. Exactly. Not everyone is aware of, Sherry and Jodelle. It is a new show. So, hello, Palma. Welcome. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, whenever that logo is available, I would love to see it when it's finished. No rush. So, but anyways, do we have anything else to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like I'm missing something, Sherry, and that's usually what happens. And then after the show, it's like, oh, shit. I should have picked it, but I didn't.
Right. I think we're all set.
Okay.
Just definitely just move on. Let's go. I can't wait anymore. We're running that time.
All right. I'm sorry. Go for it. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, and at this time, everyone, I'd like to bring our very special guest onto the line with us tonight. Her name is Grayer Vaughn. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Well, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you and to everybody listening.
Thank you. Now, Great. You're a real interesting person. I have to say, the last interview I did with you was absolutely amazing, and I think you have so much to tell everyone, especially to our new actors and actresses who are listening tonight. And I was wondering if you could give a little bit of insight on what your business is.
My business is Vaughanland Productions. We basically work in film, TV, commercials, acting reels. We will do script writing, screenwriting. We will do basically anything that has to do with film. I actually own 7 businesses, but this is my main business. So that's what we do. Yeah. We try to inspire one movie at a time. We do short films. We do some indie stuff. Whatever it takes to inspire the masses. That's pretty much what we're about at Vaughanland Productions.
Right. Now, what type of people are you looking for exactly?
We are looking for all sorts of people. Actors, actresses. We even have authors that come to us because, of course, in order for us to begin a project and begin a film or a feature or a short film, whatever the case may be, we have to have words. So that comes to us via the screenwriters, the storytellers, if you will, authors who have books and stories to share. And so we're looking for actors and actresses, any age, really, any ethnicity. We're just here to help. We're here to help you get on the right track to start out the correct way and basically build your career from the ground up. We're looking for anyone who wants to, begin their career in the right way. And even if we've had seasoned actors that may be looking to get into a different market, because, of course, down here we're in Texas. So we're a totally different market and a different scenery with SA Films. So, we're starting to build up our city, and even though most of the action is in Atlanta or LA or New York, this is where we're starting to build because, of course, this is where we're from. Anybody that's interested in acting, interested in telling a story, because we also do work closely with collaborators to build the story. So say somebody has an idea that they want to turn into a movie, we help them take that idea and change it into fruition to get them into a short film or perhaps a feature or even a TV series. It just depends on which way they would like to go.
Right. Excellent. Now, we definitely have some authors who listen to the show. Dan Payton is actually listening right now, and he's saying he has lots of words he can send your way. He writes stories, and he has some out there on Amazon for sale. He actually wrote a story for Brian and I, a short story with us in it, which is really interesting. And he also has a question for you as well. If all of your 7 show businesses, are they all related?
Not
in some way, or?
Well, in some way they have me. No, I have Vaughanland Publishing. Of course, that's the books, which is the first business I started. And then I have the Vaughanland Productions. I have Filthy Piggy, which is an organic skincare line that, is starting to get off the ground. We have XL Vaughanland, which should be coming up in 2020. We're in the middle of production right now, which is a makeup line. I also have Lost in Vaughanland, which is customized shoe art, which I have some of them on my Facebook. They can check out. Really cool designs, themed kicks, if you will. And it's basically my art that's in on a shoe. And I have Bodied by Vaughanland, which is an apparel line, and a few others that I haven't really gotten off the ground yet. So we're still working on those, and they will be released soon. But those are my main lines right now that I have. The other three will be coming shortly.
Excellent.
But yeah, they're all connected, so more or less.
Yeah. What got you interested in making Vaughanland Productions?
Vaughanland Productions? Well, to be honest, I was supposed to start the company with an ex, and that didn't work out. So I needed a way to protect my work, and I started to get hired as a freelance screenwriter. And so when I started to change and adapt movies from books to film, I started to learn more and more about the business. So I had more on-the-job training. I have a mentor who has kind of seen me along the way. And they were like, this is how we do things. This is what it is. And so I kind of got the hang of it. And then I was like, well, we might as well take it a step further and create the business. And so in creating the business, it's given me the opportunity to give others a platform and a way to be able to make their movies, make their dreams come true, because, of course, it has to start somewhere. So, I mean, there's plenty of production houses that are out there, doing the same thing. But in this is my vision, coming into fruition. So I've always wanted a production company, and I'm just fascinated by the entire scope of it. I love every single bit of the ritual. I love the routine. I like how you can take an idea and turn it into a full movie. There's just something about it, the creating process of it. It's just captivating to me. So I created Vaughanland Productions, and hopefully we can continue to bring different stories with different outlooks to, alter a bit of perspective in people and change their outlook and kind of start a dialogue on different movies, that might not already be out there. So that was my idea behind it. It's basically a way for me to protect my work and protect my art as we get out there, and to give people a chance. I mean, it's not how one would think it would be, I guess you could say, because it is a lot of hard work. But once you get into the heart of it, it's so passionate and it's so fulfilling with everything that we're able to do. And to just give chances that way, it does something for me. It's very satisfying. So that's the reason I began Vaughanland Productions to begin with.
That's great. Now, for new actors or actresses out there that need to get in touch with you for more information, what would we tell them?
They can send me an email to Vaughanland Productions at Outlook. They can contact me on Facebook if they are available, and we'll take a discussion from there and possibly bring them in for a meeting. If they have questions, they can submit it by email. And once, of course, I talk to them on Facebook, I'll give them my number and say, okay, if you feel more comfortable, we can go in depth in the conversation, perhaps if they're not in the area. And then we can kind of tell them, okay, this is what it is. And so I'll give them my number for them to contact me. And just take a chance. You're not going to know unless you ask. That's the first key. You have to be willing to ask and to find out, because at the end of the day, that's how you learn, is to ask. So I welcome anybody who wants to learn how to do anything to do with acting. If they have an aspiration to learn how to screenwrite, we'll even mentor them and try to help them as best we can. And if I can't help you, I will find somebody who can help you, because at the end of the day, in order for me to be blessed, I have to bless others. And so that's something that I stick with. And if I can help them, take a step forward, it's kind of awesome to witness,
Right. Definitely. Now, what type of resources would you offer them other than just information? I know that.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I said, what other types of resources can you offer them?
Oh, the resources that we have specifically at my business is we offer acting classes. We will help you get your headshots together. We will help you with your reels that many times actors need. If you don't have an already established body of work, you do need something to show your range, to show your ability, to show what you're able to do to potential casting directors, to producers who are looking for up-and-coming talent. We help you get all this together and basically put it in a nice package and say, here you go, this is what you need. We also will help you find an agent if you need one. We will help you pretty much any step of the way that you need help. We will help you to kind of get you together. And whether it be brand management, we also help with that. We will help you with social media. At the end of the day, we will do just about anything we can to help you get to that next level. So if you come and say maybe you're already established and you're looking for something new, kind of like a refresher, we'll say, okay, here's something you didn't know. Because at the end of the day, if we can give you all the tools that you need to be successful, then we've done our job, because we're not successful unless the actor is successful. And we want for people to go out there and know what they're doing, to get to set and have set etiquette, and to know what we should and should not allow, because many of the up-and-coming actors don't already know this stuff. God bless them, the agents, they're very busy. So they don't have a lot of time to sit there and say, okay, this is what you should know. This is how it is. So many times these actors have to go out on their own and find the different acting classes, and at the same time, it's not always just with that same person, of course, because everybody's different and there's different acting methods. So in order for you to kind of hone your craft, you have to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to tell these people, hey, take a chance on me, and this is the reason why. And the way that you do that is you equip yourself with the right kind of tools. How do you get tools? You take classes. So, for instance, with my company, what we offer is acting classes that are usually 3 weeks long. The one that's up and coming that we're setting up is with Vic Trevino. He's an amazing actor. And he basically will tailor the class to whatever that particular actor needs, or actress, if you will. If they're looking to get more TV work, then we focus on the TV work. If they're looking to get in commercials, we'll do commercials. If they're looking for features and they need maybe more of a dramatic range, we'll work on that. We work on presence. We work on confronting the camera. Literally everything from A to Z that they would ever need to know. We try to equip them to the point to where they go on set and there's not going to be anything that somebody can throw at them, because they'll already know it, and they'll be quick as a whip, and they'll be able to say, okay, this is what should be happening, this is what should not be happening, because a lot of the time, the way that I had found out that some of these things are happening behind the scenes, I happened to be on set for a commercial that I was doing, a pitch for a national commercial, and some of these actresses were coming up to me, and they're like, well, what about this, or what about that, and we didn't know this, and come to find out, they're not going to be able to get picked up by Disney or by ABC, which is now with Disney, or by NBC, any of the actual main networks, because, maybe they did something that was a little artistic, or maybe they did something where it didn't exactly paint their brand in a really good light. So then, I'm sitting there like, okay, why do you guys not know that you're not supposed to do these type of things? Like, if you're trying to be a mainstream actor or actress, why did you not know that you weren't supposed to do that? And they're like, well, nobody told us. So the only way that you're going to really have a fighting chance is to educate yourself and equip yourself with the knowledge that you need to know that says, you know what, the buck stops here. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. They'll find a way to get to you. They'll come and say, it's okay, you can kind of open your shirt a little bit, or let's do this, or let's do that. And it has to be up to that actor to say, you know what, no, that's not the direction that I want for my career to go in. And, of course, the only way that they're going to know this type of stuff is to be taught, because, of course, we all have to start somewhere. So if we're able to kind of give them these resources, which I have at my disposal, and I can say, okay, this is what you should look for. This is what you should be doing. This is who you need to be working with, because there is also a wide spectrum of people who say, okay, we're going to charge $175 for this class, and then at the end of the day, we'll just look at your headshots and maybe tell you what we think of a critique of what your, television commercial proposal should look like. And then you come away and you're not really left with anything. You're still kind of like, okay, I paid $175, but did I learn anything? These are things that we kind of feel responsible for, because there's of course folks that they'll take your money immediately, but you're not going to get what you pay for. So in our classes, that's something we strive for. By the end of that class, you should know everything that we have on that list and say, okay, this is what you're going to learn, this is what it is, and this is why you need to learn these things. So being that we have those kind of classes at our disposal, it's almost a sin not to be able to say, hey, come and take this class. It's important. You need it. Unfortunately, many times, the ego gets involved, and some actors think, oh, no, I'm perfect. They're going to come knock on my door, and that's just not so. I mean, you got to put in the work. If you want to get somewhere, you want to be over there next to Captain America, you got to get some Captain America classes and kind of get it together. I think we all want to be next to Captain America, but you got to have to do the work, You got to put in the time.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's a lot. I guess my question is how did you learn to do all this stuff?
How did I learn? I started out writing scripts, and then I became a partner at Alamo City Studios, and being involved in the different projects, that's how I learn. And I'm one of those people that I just have to know something. So if I look at a way, that something is being put together, I'm like, okay, why did that happen? And how did this work? And so it becomes, kind of second nature to me. So I go and I make it a point to learn. I mentor under people, and I'm saying, hey, I'm interested in doing this. Can you show me this? And in return, maybe I can do this for you. So we barter a lot. We go back and forth. We learn different techniques. We kind of collaborate with each other, because Alamo City Studios is a collaborative space. There's directors there. We have writers. We have Little Elephant. Shout out to John Ames. I don't know if he's listening, but he does like urban streetwear. Very cool. So we have a lot of different people that are in our little hub there. And, if you want to come and learn, it's kind of how I tell the actors, okay, you got to put in the time. So I took it upon myself to learn correct format, to learn how to write a script, what I needed to do to become a good producer, because at the end of the day, that's what my goal was. I wanted to be a good producer that made sure everything on set ran a certain way. And so I took it upon myself to mentor under people, good people that I respected, and I liked the way that their work came out. And so I have myself on the job, experience. I put myself in that position and continue to learn as I go. And, meeting with different people, we network a lot. There's a lot of different mixers that we do, which is very good, speaking of which, for the actors. We, especially down here in South Texas, we have a lot of different mixers, different networking opportunities that you can meet people and say, hey, I'm an actor, or hey, I'm a producer. We meet people that way. So in doing so, that's how I kind of condition myself, is to study under these people and learn how to do these things. It's not easy. It's definitely passion driven, because there's some days, it's 18-hour days. And by the time all of it's said and done, you're kind of like, okay, this is the dream. This is what we're doing, So, yeah, that's kind of how I learned. I got in there, straight up. So, how they say, straight up, no chaser. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Another question from Daniel. Daniel says, what sort of screenplays have you done? Animated, live action, or both?
I've done both. I do a lot of live action. I've done dramas. Right now we're working on 2 pitches that we want to try and get in. It's a pitch deck. We're going to try and get it into Pixar. Fingers crossed. But it's an animated feature. There's 2 of them that are animated features. We have some that are short films. We have 2 or 3 of them that are web series. I've put together pitch packets for other people that come and hire me to do the packets for them, and then I'll help them pitch. Like, for instance, we pitched this series called 5150, who belonged to another gentleman that paid me to do that. And we pitched that to Henry Penzi, which works in conjunction with Mark Wahlberg. So I've done those type of projects. What we've got on deck, we've got a short film called Monster, which I wrote, and that's getting ready to get turned into a series, a web series that we're going to put, I think we're going to house it on Amazon. And yeah, I mean, I've done just a little bit of everything. The only thing I haven't touched yet is horror, and I'm trying to work my way up to that. Because I have to kind of, when I'm writing it, I have to put myself in that headspace, and I'm still afraid of Freddy. So I'm trying to work my way up to horror, but right now I'm just a little bit more comfortable in the live action, romance, paranormal aspect of things. I hope I'm not talking too quick. We're in my field, we talk kind of quick. So.
Oh, absolutely not. Okay, so I'm going to throw a scenario at you, and I want you to tell me what you would do. So I have a friend. I'm a co-author of a book that she's currently writing, and I'm waiting for it. So I would love to see this book either. I don't think it would be good as a, but then again, you would know. But it's a murder mystery book, and I would love to see it either become a movie, or it might do well as a web series, or a series, you said, like on Amazon or something. What would I have to do?
Oh, I lost you.
I did too. What did you say?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Weird. Okay, so to turn a book into either a movie or a web series, I've contacted you. I've pretty much told you kind of what it's about. Where do you go from there? how do you know if it's good enough to even consider?
Usually, the way that I look at them is I read the book first. It's usually the first 5 pages I'll know. 10 pages for sure I'll say, okay, we can do something with this. Because, of course, just like in publishing a book, you have to have the first 10 pages. I think they say the first 50 pages to really grab the reader. But within that first 10 pages, I'll know, okay, yes, we can do something with this. Because, of course, that's where it starts. If it's something that I read it and I'm like, okay, it has merit and it can go somewhere, then I'll say, okay, here's what I think. And I'll tell them, because, of course, when you begin a project like that, especially when it's a book and it's something that you've put, you've slaved over. I mean, this is something that you've taken time away from your family to create. Time away from the friends if you don't have a family, any sleep that you've lost over this book. So it's important, you have to be careful when you deliver this kind of news. But if I sit there and I'll tell them, okay, here's what I think. I think the characters are good. We just need to strengthen your plot. This is what's up, and this is what we're going to need. Because when you take a book and turn it into a film, there's 5 plot points that drive the characters and the plot forward. So out of that whole book, you have to figure out what is going to drive the plot forward. And, of course, when you read the book, that's why they say the book is always better than the movie. So I'll read through the book and I'll make a couple of notes and I'll say, okay, here's what I think. And these are the plot points that I think we're going to need to touch on. And a lot of the time, of course, the author of the work is going to be like, okay, wait a minute, because we got to have this. She kills her boyfriend and then runs off with the neighbor's cousin. Like, we have to have that in there. And it's like, okay, but at the same time, did you see where she dumped the body? There's like little things in there that kind of give it a nice twist. And I like those kind of things. So the first thing to know, of course, is where you're going with it. What do you see as your vision? If you are doing a murder mystery, I would think that it would be stronger as a web series because, of course, in a web series, you can kind of open it right open, open it on up, and you can go those different avenues, and you can kind of play with people a little bit, get the suspense in there, get it really good, and then, bam, cliffhanger, got to wait till the next episode. You see what I mean? But in a feature, you kind of have to give it all away, sort of. And it's kind of depending on the perspective. So when we're reading through the film, it's either one of two things. Either it starts out and it builds, or it starts from the end and circles back around. So you have to figure out what kind of story you're dealing with. So when I usually bring somebody in and I'll sit them down in front of me because I usually have my desk facing another one, and I'll say, okay, what's your goal? Your end goal is what? And they'll say, okay, I don't know. I'll say, okay, here's your end goal. At the end of all this, you want for the next book, if there is a next book, to be able to go forward. You want to be able to change people's perspective or their outlook in this particular thing. You want to be able to mess with people to where you have captivated them so much that they have to just write you and find out what happens next. That's the kind of story that we want to build, and that might not be what you have. And so when you have to deliver that kind of news, it's not always so good. But you say, okay, it's all right because we're going to do this, and this is how we're going to make it happen. Because a lot of the time when you get optioned to make a movie, you don't get that creative control. And in my business, especially, I like to work with the author because, of course, you've brought it this far. Who knows the story better than the author? So if I can sit there and I tell you, what does Jemima smell like? Does her hair smell like oranges? Like, what's her deal? Does she have this thing where she likes to pick her scabs? There has to be a tick or something that's wrong with this chick to where she's murdering people. You know what I mean? If it's a murder mystery, or maybe she's like the Carmen Sandiego, over there trying to figure out what's going on. In every place at every time. So we bring them in, we develop what the overall goal is. From there, we'll say, okay, this is what we've got. This is what we need to do. I see it better as a film if it's not as strong as a web series. And if they say, okay, we want a series, I'm like, okay, that's going to be extra work. And this is the reason why. It's usually character development when you have to go that far. Because, of course, in a feature, you only have, 120 pages, give or take, to get your point across, to get your story going. In a web series, you can develop the characters, you can do different things, you can bring other people in. So once we've identified where you want to go with it, we'll say, okay, the goal is to have it housed on Amazon. If you want to do YouTube Red, I think, what else do they got? Apple TV, they've got iTunes, Facebook Watch. It depends on where you want to have it. And then I'll say, okay, to have it in Amazon or Netflix, you're going to have to show it in a premiere, like in a movie theater, which is fine. But, it just depends on if you're going to a movie or if you're going to a web series. Once we've identified that, then we lay it out. We do the character bios and say, okay, this is what this character is. Because when you start laying it out in script form, you're going to have to make all these concessions, and you're going to go round and round because, of course, the character has to look like this, and maybe he looks like Keanu Reeves in John Wick, and then chops off all his hair and goes crazy like the guy in Seven, and so it's a lot of detail, but it's so much fun, at least creatively, especially to a writer, to be able to take it from that format and change it into something else, and then after you start to see your vision come across, you're like, okay, I can do this, because we have to give you the tools that you need to go forward. So that's the reason that I like working, with the author themselves. That's what I would do, and what we would do is something called a writer for hire, to where I would work in collaboration with you. So basically, when we register the script, we would have like a co-sharing of the credits, and it would say my name and it would have their name.
Right. Okay. Good to know. So
yeah.
I think we've piqued Daniel Payton's interest here, because his next question is, and I was going to actually ask this question. He says, is your work like a publisher, meaning do you charge for your work up front, or do you make the money by selling the script to the production company? Basically, what kind of upfront costs would I need to have to present a book for potential movie or show production?
If you're selling it outright to like the publishing rights to a production house, they pay you. When you bring it to somebody like me who's a script doctor to change it from book to film, that's where you would pay me. And that would depend on what you would want to do. If you want a film, that's one price. If you want a web series, that's a whole nother issue, because when you're doing a series or you're going to do a pitch deck to do a series, it's usually the first 6 episodes, if not the full 13 for one season. Usually when you're doing a pitch for a series, they want to see the pilot plus 6 episodes to make sure that, it's consistent. You've got all the things. You kind of hit all the bells and whistles and stuff. So that's a different price. Most people will do a set price up front, and they won't start until that price is paid. I'm one of the people who I will say, okay, it's like $15,000, but we'll do half up front, and you can give me like the rest in payments. Because, of course, when you're starting out, unless you're well off, you're not going to have $15,000 straight up to pay somebody. You're not going to have the $25,000, the $50,000, depending on what it is that we're trying to do to get you where you need to go. So I try to make a payment plan that is suitable for the person, because, of course, I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, we're not going to do this and we're not going to do that, and I'm not going to have you starve. I have to be okay in the eyes of the church myself. So I will say, okay, I know what you want to do. I know where you're going, and I've been there. So this is what I can do for you. And basically what you're doing is buying my time as a screenwriter. And as I'm writing, I'm showing you and mentoring you to also learn my craft and say, this is how you do this. So in turn, you'll also, work closely with me. I have, depending on the writer now, I have writers that come and all they do is literally sit in front of me and give me ideas, and then I kind of create. If I have a writer that's already had the book, and then we'll take it into format, we'll do it in the manuscript and go page by page. And then I'll say, okay, this is what you're saying. This is how it needs to be said. Because, of course, in a script, it doesn't have the same detail as it does in a book. It's kind of dumbed down a little bit, if you will, because instead of, John skulking over to the fence to, peer over the lake, he's basically John walks. You know what I mean? It's very abrupt and to the point. And so we break it down and I'll say, okay, this is how you're going to say that. They're saying this right here, but I need you to tell me how to say that here, because the actor needs to know if they need to sound forlorn. We can't put too many Rileys in there, which are basically parentheticals. It tells you, like, if you're supposed to sound enthused or, how the line should be delivered for the actor. We can't put them after every single heading, because if we do, we're telling the actor how to do their job. You see what I mean? And so
right.
In a book, you have to tell the reader what you're seeing. You know what I mean? So you have to go into serious detail in the book. You tell them how to feel. You tell them you're welcoming them into your world in a book. In a script, you're basically translating what's in the world into what we're going to see on the TV and how it should be shot. So it's a little bit different. Hope that answers the question.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah.
He's saying, unless you're talking candy bars, he's a poor author. That kind of money is out of my range.
Believe it or not, money can be raised. We can do Kickstarters. I've done projects where I know they don't have a pot to piss in or the staff to clean it out, and I get it. I'm there with you. And so I will go as far as to help them create a script to get a snippet or what we call a sizzle reel to help the Kickstarter to go. A lot of the time, that comes from my own resources, and that's something that I don't, I'm not one of those that would film it for you and then say later, okay, now you owe me $21,000. My whole purpose in life is to inspire. So if I can do that and I can help in any way possible, I'll help. But at the end of the day, I still have to get paid. So the only way to get paid is to help get funding for that project. So we try to help as best we can. We're not going to just straight up tell you no. There are producers that will do that. I'm not one of them because, I've learned literally from the feet up, and nobody helped me get anywhere. I've done this myself, building and learning and creating. So if I can at least help and say, okay, this is how you need to do this. Get yourself a screenwriter's Bible. Everything you need to know is in here. This is how you format it. And if I'm not busy with projects, then I'll say, okay, I have this many hours to donate. I can donate 8 hours, but you have to be there because it's the one thing. It's my pet peeve. I don't like anyone wasting my time. So if I donate my time by saying, hey, I'm going to help you out, take my advice if that's what you want to do. Because a lot of the time, some of these writers, the aspiring writers, not everybody's a writer. So you have to be able to distinguish whether or not it's something that's worth your time or it's something that you're going to have to teach them in the long run. And if it's something I have to teach you in the long run, that's something I'll do as part of my philanthropy. And I'll say, okay, this is what we're doing. And then, of course, when you have the money, we'll turn it into a film. But, I'll at least try to help you get closer to your goal if I can.
Awesome. I'm just seeing if he has any other questions. If anyone else has any questions. Sherry, did you have any other questions? That pretty much sums it up, by the way. So, because I was beginning to wonder how, if someone doesn't have, if you ask for, I don't even know how much it would, whatever amount of money, and they're
usually $7,000. It's usually like $7,000.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I don't even have $7,000. But it's nice to know. But it's, and I totally forgot about Kickstarter. And I'm pretty sure there's other platforms for that to raise money, but I know Kickstarter's, one of the bigger ones. So
right.
Would you, if you say, okay, you're going to need $21,500, does that cover the cost? If it was green-lit and you said, yes, this is a movie, will that cover the cost of your services? I don't know, if paying your actors and all that stuff, so I don't have to give you anything, or is it just
no,
to get
usually
started?
Yeah, that's just to get started, but it's not $21,000 to get started. Oh, absolutely not. No. It's usually I've done projects for as low as $2,500. I've done a script for $2,500 for somebody before. I've done stuff that's like $4,500. It just depends on where they're at. If they bring me a script and I'm like, okay, you need to have it script doctored, I can do that for $2,500. And then I sit with them and tell them, okay, this is why it's wrong. Usually it's grammatical errors or the structure's off, the format's off, something like that. When it's something that's like $25,000 and up, that's a full feature. And when you're starting from scratch and you have absolutely nothing, that means that it's just an idea. Maybe you were taking a shower or something, the soap fell on your head, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, my God, this would be an epic movie, And so you come to me and you're like, hey, I have a movie idea. What do you think? And so when you pitch it to me, I'll say, okay, yes, we can do it. That's something that is going to take quite a while because it takes a while to get the scripts together and to make sure it's edited correctly, because by the time you go, you only got that one shot to get through the door. And so you want to make sure that that script is 100% good to go. That's something that's, the bigger prices. If you know it's going to be a pain in the butt and it's headaches, usually when it's that much, we're already filming. We're going to go straight into production. We're going to start from scratch. We'll say, okay, the first 3 to 6 months, we're going to get this script squared away. Then we'll go into the process of, okay, you got $50,000. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to make this work. And that includes paying the actors, getting your grips, getting your full staff, your craft services, if you have to pay for locations, if you're maybe filming on location, you have to pay for, of course, the per diem, the hotel, the food, all the little costs. You also have to make sure that you have wardrobe, that you have, all the different aspects of a film. So that's what that goes into. I'm not, and unless the script is super terrible to where we're going to have to tear it down and begin again, that's something that I would say, okay, $25,000. And then they really have to be able to convince me to do it, because if it's that far gone, 9 times out of 10, the person got that far because they didn't listen in the first place. Because, of course, plenty of people come and they think that their stuff is where it should be. And a lot of the time we have to tell them, no, this is why. And then it's like you're wasting time, so you're arguing back and forth. And then it's finally, okay, dude, I do this professionally. This is why it's $25,000, because it's that much of a headache to try and get it together. But when you're just starting out, I don't want them to think that it's impossible to get a film done. It really isn't. You just have to have somebody that's willing to work with you and willing to get you from point A to point B. That's why I say I'll start off. I've done it for as little as $500 a week, $500 a month, depending on the person I'll even take a deposit of like $100 and just to put it on the schedule and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to have a plan of attack. And I reassure them and tell them, don't worry, we're going to get you where you need to be, because, you know, it's not easy. And everybody thinks that they're a writer until the writing actually starts. And then they're like, wow, this is a lot of work. And you're like, and that's why we get paid a lot of money to do what we need to do. But at the same time, that $7,000 or the $2,000, whatever it is, that goes back into production as well. You know, it's not just, you know, oh, we're going to go shopping at like Macy's or something. You know, we put that back into production. So, you know, and having to do any of the costs like craft services when you have auditions, just different things, we use it, at least that's what I do. I put it back into my business. So that basically takes my time. That would be something that it's taking me off of project to do. So basically you're just paying for time, and then we'll get you out there. But I don't want for them to think, okay, this is the end of the road, because there are plenty of people that will tell you, okay, you can do it yourself, and this is how you do it, you know, which I can tell them and just say, okay, this is what you're going to need to do. And if you have any questions, come back and ask me, and I will help you to the best of my ability. And if I don't know it, I will go bug, you know, my mentors until they will tell me something, and I'll get you an answer. And then that way, you know, it's always open, because just because they don't have money at that point doesn't mean that there's not going to be money down the road, that they're going to be able to do that. I mean, if you start kind of living by that mentality anyway, I'm here for the creativity, not necessarily the money. The money's nice, don't get me wrong, but I want to be able to put out good films. I want to be able to know at the end of the day that I helped this person, and they're that much better because I was able to help them. You know what I mean? So Don't get discouraged, you know. Don't think, oh, man, we're never going to get a film. You know, because all it takes is one good film to get you out there. You know, you could even, I mean, there's guys that we've had at Film Slam that have filmed stuff on their iPhone. There's people that film stuff, guerrilla filming, where they don't have any permits. They don't have any insurance, production insurance. They don't have, you know, everything that they need. And at the end of the day, when we have to invest in something, because I've done that myself, when I believe that much in a writer and their ability, I'll invest in them and hire the cinematographer, which is like $750 an hour, to come and film their